The same way you got people with the law of attraction. Same way some people build different businesses. When I build a business, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do my business model generation. I'm going to look at all of the different key points that I need in order to make this business successful so I can assess whether this is the type of risk that I should be taking. Because starting a business can be considered a high risk situation. So therefore, I know that if I do the work, I learn my field, I learn my customer segments, I learn my key partners, my key activities. You understand me? I learn the different technologies I'm going to need. I do my R&D, my market research. You understand me? My product dev. Then I'm making sure that I'm setting up my business to decrease the probability of my business failing. Somebody else say, well, can you say, listen, I started a business too. You started a business. How come you're successful, mine not? Right? Because you didn't follow the wisdom of the science of business. I did. Right? Is it because I'm more special than you? Well, if you call working, you understand me, in the right capacity special, then possibly. Right? Like we use all of these words so that we can equalize ourselves with others, and we can say they have an ego for using those words. If a person calls themselves special, you get mad at them. No, we all special, bro. Nah, that person that worked harder than you was special. Don't get mad at the words. Produce more work. They're not more lucky than you, or maybe luck is just when we work harder. So I say all that to say this. Somebody gets out of jail today, right? And you know that they on probation. You understand me? Parole or whatever it may be, and they gotta go get them a job. Because if they don't, then they could possibly be revoked from their probation and sent back to jail to carry out the full term of their sentence. So my mindset was like, damn, I hate the fact that my brothers get out of jail and I don't have a solution for them. Like, I know how to do what I do, but I can't just start a business for them and they become successful. And I can't just hire everybody, right? Because my business doesn't require that many employees yet. So now we fast forward to where I can now talk to a person and be like, listen, you should fire your job. Start working for the white man. Well, bro, be like, man, y'all be saying that. That ain't for everybody. Whoa, hey, slow down. Don't speak for them. Speak for yourself. This is the thing. We get triggered by our weaknesses when somebody tries to point out our strengths. Because we telling people we want you to lean to your strengths, but you leave into your comfortability and your complacency. And the moment that you start living outside the bounds of your complacency, then that's when you start to live in your full potential. But we say, nah, man, I don't want you over there triggering me, because then everybody gonna start working with that mindset. And then now I'm gonna start feeling guilty because I'm not producing the same amount of potential as everybody else. So I'm gonna tell y'all to stop putting out that message, because you make me feel guilty for going clock in at the job. Well, that's not what it was for. I wanted some of those people to feel guilty for not, you understand me, working for themselves when they actually have the capabilities to do so. Because I can tell you, each one of these people, you consider yourself a Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever you may do, right? And the fact that you don't have faith in yourself is hypocrisy to your belief in God. Because you believe that God made you with all these components, right? But you're fearful. You don't think you can do it. It's not that you can't. Then you read these great stories of these great men, Yahshua, and people that have walked through the sands and deserts and did all these beautiful things. And you love their stories from their hardships that they did for their so-called sacrifice for people today. But you're not willing to make a single goddamn sacrifice and put yourself in that same position so that you can have upward mobility, so you can have growth. So why do you look at everybody else's sacrifice as beautiful, but you're not willing to take that same one yourself? We're not born to be job seekers. We're born to be job creators. How do I know that? I can say that with 100% certainty and facts. Because nature did not assign jobs. Nature didn't say, hey, this person was born to be a cashier. Nature didn't say this person was born to be assistant manager. Nature didn't say this person was born to make $35,000 a year, be happy, save, retire, get their Roth IRA 1K, wait till about 65 years old so they can retire and live off the benefits of the government or their job. That's not what nature produced. Man created the circumference of your reality. You know what I'm talking about? Because he gave you, as Minister Farrakhan said, something similar to it, the diameter of your thinking. What is that diameter? How did they build that? They built it through school. They built it through environment, right? And some of those people that was indoctrinated, meaning they was taught those things at an early age, force-fed their thinking. Then when you grow up, they groomed you with the way they thought, because that's all they had in their head. So you grew up with the religion of poverty, not realizing that this is a culture of poverty. This is a culture of excuses. You understand me? That you grew up with. So you want to do better, but all you have in your head is this cage of, oh, no, I actually like this job. See, we start lying to ourselves. But then we like vacation at the same time. We like having the freedom. We like to travel around the world and just enjoy ourselves without having to go back and report to somebody. So how can two things be true at the same time? How can you want the results of freedom, but you say you enjoy the plantation? I want you to ask yourself that. Because this is what I was going through when I worked for a job. Then I worked for 7 years, or several years rather, I mean. And I'm working at the job, but when I got into a fight because somebody tried me because they looked at the aesthetics of my clothing and the design and how I was looking good that day, and they didn't realize that, you know, they was growling at a wolf. So when they was growling at a wolf, I bit. I said, okay, listen, man. I said it calmly. I said, listen, man, this ain't what you want. I said, I had to tell this ain't what you want. Now, when you tell somebody that calmly, and I'm wearing a nice $1,000 suit, you understand me? But it got stretch in it. They didn't realize it had stretch. Now, that stretch means I can hit you with a full release. So what ended up happening was, that's exactly what I did. I full released on them. I hit them with the bing bottom, right? Now, I hit them in such a way that it's this one right here. I got a tear on one of here. So I hit him. I didn't realize it until I got back in the car. I walked calmly and cool. You understand? It's crowded outside. People say, what happened? I said, man, it looked like somebody had their head down that way, man. It's crazy. They're out there fighting. You know what I mean? I'm walking back to the car. And about halfway home, my hand is throbbing. I mean, it's hurting. You understand me? I'm like, what the hell wrong with me? And there's blood, right? Now, the blood wasn't mine. The blood was the other guy's. So I'm marking that off. I'm like, okay, what the hell? Ain't nothing wrong with me. But my hand hurt. It's more pain than I had felt in my life. So I ended up having to go to the emergency room. They checked it out. They said, yeah, it's broke. You got a boxer's fracture, right? So they gave me some pain pills. Then I had to go get surgery, right? So I got surgery. But the point of that was I was off work after that for about a month. Now, I was working this job for about 4 years straight, right? Getting paid good money, 6 figures per year, because, you know, I'm top-level sales activity. I'm still bringing my godly abilities on the plantation. It's just shit. I was building a institution up instead of mine. So I'm working there, and I get this month off, and this month off happened to be the greatest blessing. Because once I got a taste of freedom again, I forgot what freedom was like. I forgot what it was like to have that amount of freedom. And what I started doing was I started designing. I was selling more of my own products and clothes. I was taking different meetings. I was going around networking and talking with people. My ideas started to come. The freedom of not having to wake up and report somewhere. You understand me? My habits changed because I was gone for more than 21 days. And I realized that you get paid disability when you're not working. And you got a whole account. I had like $80,000 in the account that they saved from all the years that you worked. So here I'm getting paid the same amount as when I wasn't working. And I said, this would be nice if I could do this full time. So then that's when I realized, like, I can't go back to that. That coupled with the fact that the Million Man March anniversary had presided and Minister Louis Farrakhan ringing message of do for self kept being in my head, and I felt like a hypocrite staying there. So I had to, once I got envisioned with what it was like, the life that I really wanted, to still be able to make that kind of money but do it on my own time, that's when I couldn't go back. So I ended up telling them folks when I did go and my disability was over and I had to go back, because I tried to act like my hand was broke forever. I say, shit, as long as I'm getting paid, you know what I'm talking about, we good to go. I say, Doc, tell them I'm still not ready. So I ended up going back, make a long story short. And I told them folks, I say, listen, I'm going to be firing y'all soon. Right? So now they on edge. They don't know when Keys is going to fire them. They don't know what day I might just wake up and leave. Right? Because they have a very vigorous hiring process. and a very vigorous firing process. So it's very hard for them to let people go. So I knew that they couldn't keep me on ease. I'm in there and they trying to figure out, well, let's not make him too mad because he might not clock in one day. He throws up the whole infrastructure of the store, right? So I knew that I had leverage. But one day, my brother, Mr. Fab, he's a famous rapper, Oakland, California, philanthropist. You understand me? Hyphy King. He hit me up. He had a store out there. And I put some of my clothing. I had Assalamu Alaikum clothing. I had Musa Hill, you understand me, crowns, things of that nature. And I had a particular shirt that I put in his shop, a new collection I had just designed. And it was some op from Kansas City. You know what I'm talking about? This Kansas City op, he wanted to buy some of the clothing. So I said, cool. But the problem was he was out in Kansas City. He hit up Fab and he like, no, I need like a few $1,000s worth of it. I didn't know that you even had this type of clothing in your shop because Fab wore it in one of his videos. You understand me? And that video was like on XXL magazine in a few different places. So Fab hit me up. He said, I will be in town. He want to buy some of your stuff. So the day that he hit me up, I happened to be off. See, it's another thing. Like, it's the freedom that provided me the opportunities. And this is what I was learning along the journey. So I happened to be off that day. He said, pull up. I don't have enough to service, you understand me, the needs. I pull up. I load everything that I got up in 2 big bins, pull up to the Ak. He out there with some other Ox. You understand me? Those are Muslim brothers. We say brother, we say Ak, right? So he said, listen, I need everything you got. You know what I'm talking about? So he spent a few $1,000s with me, cash out. And at the time, that was the biggest one single sale that I gave to one client because he wanted to take the clothing and go give it back to the Ox in Kansas City because he ain't ever seen nobody design the type of wear that I produced at the time. And I remember right after that, I went and I told Fab, I say, listen, I'm about to fire my job. I got to do this full time. Now, he like, hey, you crazy. Because he know what type of money I was making. You know, I'm making like 6 figures and the guys in the hood, you know what I'm talking about, they struggling to get regular, you understand me, $30,000 jobs and things of that nature. So people consider that to be a good job, right? Making $100,000 plus per year. So it's not something that you normally encourage people to fire, right? Because these are seen as higher opportunities for us. Long story short, I fired them that next week. Called bro, like, yeah, I let them go. People was telling me that was crazy. You understand me? People was telling me that, like, yeah, you wildin', that was a good job. I say, yeah, that was a job. You understand me? And I knew for a fact that if I made them folks that money, I knew what I could do for myself. I went from making $100,000 per year. I started a family business because they always say, don't do business with family. I say, nah, we can't do business with family because we're dysfunctional. But it's actually the most effective thing to do business with family. So anyway, long story short, a longer story shorter, I should say. I fired them, right? And I went from making $100,000 a year, started up a family business, and then we had our first $100,000 month. Now think about that. It was 12 months. I'm making $100,000 within those 12 months. I tell people, listen, I know I can go do this for myself. Because if I'm making $100,000 and I'm selling like $3.2, $3.5 million for another company, right, and I'm making commission on, what if I just sold my own product, got 100% commission, you understand me, did it independent. It made more sense to me when I'm doing the math in my head. So when we made that $100,000 within that month, now of course I got employees, partners, and other people to pay out, but I never got to pay out like that at my job ever. You understand me? And never would have, regardless of what position and what level I would have got in that company. I'm making more than all of the people that hired me, the people that was snobby with their nose up at me. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care if they 6'10" levels above me in those positions, making more money than all of them. But they didn't have the vision to see what I could have produced. Well, but the manager at the place at that time said, nah, I was thinking about maybe 6 months out and you could do sales and get to a higher position. See, I never let nobody else's vision dictate my potential and my reality. It was always where I seen myself at. And I never needed nobody else, you understand me, to validate my choices. because I got the God within that's directing me, and I have trust within a lot. You know what I'm talking about? And so I fired them making $100,000 a month now with a family business. So people always tell me don't do business with family. So I defy the rules of society and their paradigms. That's the mindset. I further that because now I went from just starting a business, right? Now I'm learning new skill sets. So once I learned skill sets within the marketplace, partnering with Chris Cole, then we started up a business. Now $100,000 a month is a consistency. You understand me? I always say you want to get something done, do it yourself. If you want to do more, get you a team. So now I have diversification. Now I don't just have one business, I have two businesses. We in the middle of a pandemic. So now, after learning this skill set over time, you understand me, getting me a higher education. You know what I'm talking about? Learning 1% knowledge that I never knew anything about. You know what I'm talking about? Going through, teaching the wealth standard and going through the wealth standard myself. You understand me? Learning diversification, learning skill set diversification, learning the money markets. You know what I'm talking about? Learning the history of the markets, learning the paradigm shifts, learning investments, and then studying that and then teaching the aspects of wealth to our people from my understanding, my knowledge, my experience. And then 7 months down the line, you know, fast forward 2021, and having $100,000 day in the market. So you think about that for just a second, right? I work for them folks. I'm getting $100,000 a year, and that's cool, right? But imagine me working that job and telling these folks, and I go to my family and be like, you know what, that ain't enough for me. I need $100,000 a day. You know what, that ain't enough for me. I need $100,000 a month. They gonna say, boy, count your blessings. You know what I'm saying? Boy, don't be arrogant. You know what I'm talking about? Take the opportunities given to you. Society, the people around you, they'll tell you no. Don't go for what your true value is. But see, they don't know how to do a proper evaluation of your true value. So they don't even know how to assess the situation to know if it's realistic or not. You gonna tell somebody like, nah, this $100,000 is cool. They gonna feel like you being ungrateful for the opportunities provided. Your parents, family, people tell you, go work a job. Go to school. Don't chase the dream. Boy, you crazy. So they put limitations on your mind. You follow those limitations, and then that becomes the road to mediocrity. So if I were to allow anybody else to dictate, if I were to listen to any other fears, if I would have got complacent along the journey at any point in time, I would have never had the opportunities to produce my own world.